Ada did not plan to come home early. That morning started like every other day. She woke up before the alarm rang. She lay in bed for a few seconds, staring at the ceiling. Kunal was already gone. He had left early again. He said he had an important meeting. Ada got up, bathed, and dressed for work. She tied her hair neatly and looked at herself in the mirror. She looked tired, but she forced a small smile. She picked up her bag and left the house. On the way to work, traffic was light. That alone felt strange. Lagos traffic was never light. She arrived at the office earlier than usual. She sat at her desk and opened her laptop. Around 10 a.m., her phone buzzed. It was her boss. Ada, the client canceled, her boss said on the phone. We'll move the meeting to next week. You can go home if you want. Ada thanked her boss and ended the call. She sat there for a moment, staring at her screen. Going home early felt odd. She almost decided to stay and finish some work. Then she smiled. She thought of Kunal. Maybe she could surprise him. He had been distant lately. Always busy. Always tired. Maybe seeing her early would make him happy. Maybe they could eat lunch together. Maybe they could talk. She packed her things and left the office. As she walked out of the building, she felt light. The sun was bright. She called Kunal's number. It rang. No answer. She tried again. Still no answer. He's probably busy, she said to herself. She got into a taxi and headed home. During the ride, small thoughts started to enter her mind. Kunal had changed. He no longer asked about her day. He no longer touched her the way he used to. At night, he stayed on his phone until he fell asleep. Ada pushed the thoughts away. You're overthinking, she whispered. The taxi stopped in front of the house. She paid and stepped down. The gate was locked, as usual. She opened her bag and took out her keys. As she unlocked the gate, she noticed something small but strange. Kunal's car was there. Her heart skipped. He said he had a meeting. He said he would be out all day. She stood still for a few seconds, holding the gate. Then she laughed quietly. Maybe the meeting was canceled too, she said. She locked the gate behind her and walked toward the front door. The house looked normal. Nothing was broken. Nothing looked out of place. She opened the door and stepped inside. The house was quiet. No TV sound. No music. No voices. Too quiet. Ada closed the door slowly. She placed her bag on the small table near the door. She removed her shoes. She took one step. Then another. She called out softly, Kunal. No answer. She walked further inside. The living room was clean. The sofa cushions were neatly arranged. The curtains were half closed, letting in soft light. Something felt wrong, but she could not explain it. She walked toward the kitchen. No one there. The sink was clean. No dishes. No sign that anyone had cooked recently. Her heart started to beat faster. She turned and walked down the hallway toward the bedroom. As she walked, her chest felt tight. Her steps slowed. Her ears picked up a faint sound. A movement. She stopped. She listened. The sound came again. Very soft. Like someone shifting on a bed. Her throat went dry. She stood there, staring at the bedroom door. It was not fully closed. It was slightly open. Ada's hand trembled as she reached for the door. She pushed it gently. The door opened wider. What she saw made her world stop. A woman was lying on her bed. Not sitting. Not standing. Lying comfortably on her bed. The sheets were messy. The pillows were not in place. The woman was wearing a loose shirt. Her hair was undone. Ada could not breathe. Her ears rang. Her hands shook so badly she had to hold the door frame. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. She blinked. The woman was still there. The woman moved. She turned her head and saw Ada. Their eyes met. Time froze. The woman's eyes widened. She sat up quickly, pulling the sheet closer to her body. Who are you? The woman asked, her voice sharp and confused. Ada did not answer immediately. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it would burst. She looked around the room. Her wardrobe, her curtains, her bed. This is my house, Ada finally said. Her voice sounded strange, like it belonged to someone else. Low, hard, cold. The woman stared at her. Before the woman could say anything else, footsteps came from the bathroom. Ada turned her head. The bathroom door opened. Cunnel stepped out. He had a towel around his waist. Their eyes met. The towel slipped from his hand. He froze. No one spoke. The silence was heavy, thick, painful. Cunnel's face drained of color. "Ada," he whispered. Ada did not respond. She looked at him. She really looked at him. The man she had loved for 7 years. The man she trusted. The man she built a life with. He could not look her in the eyes for long. "I can explain," Cunnel said quickly. "Please, let me explain." Ada laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was dry, empty. "Explain," she said. "Explain what?" The woman on the bed stood up. She grabbed her bag from the floor. Her hands shook, but she tried to look strong. "I didn't know he was married," the woman said. Ada turned slowly and looked at her. The woman avoided her eyes. Cunnel stepped forward. "Ada, please. Let's talk. Please." Ada raised her hand. "Don't," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were burning. At that moment, something broke inside her. The surprise, the love, the trust, all gone. And this was only the beginning. No one moved for a few seconds. Ada stood by the door, her hand still on the frame. Her fingers felt numb. Her legs felt weak, but she refused to sit or lean. She did not want to look weak in front of them. Cunnel was the first to move. He bent down slowly and picked up the towel. His hands shook as he tied it around his waist. He kept talking, like words could fix what was already broken. "Ada, please," he said again. "Just listen to me." Ada did not answer. Her eyes moved from Cunnel to the woman. The woman was standing by the bed now. She held her bag tight to her chest. She looked nervous, but there was something else in her eyes. Something like pride, or maybe challenge. Ada felt anger rise in her chest. Not the loud kind. The quiet kind. The kind that burns. "You," Ada said, pointing at the woman. "Sit." The woman looked surprised. "What?" "I said sit," Ada repeated. The woman glanced at Cunnel. He avoided her eyes. After a short pause, she sat back on the edge of the bed. Ada walked into the room fully now. Each step felt heavy. She stopped near the foot of the bed. She looked around again. Her perfume bottle was on the dresser, moved from where she left it. Her pillow had makeup stains. Her bedsheet was twisted in a way she knew too well. This was not just a mistake. This had happened before. "How long?" Ada asked quietly. Cunnel swallowed. "Ada, how long?" she asked again louder. Cunnel rubbed his face. "A few months." Ada nodded slowly. "A few months." That was all he said. A few months of lies. Of late nights. Of fake meetings. Of cold replies. Ada turned to the woman. "And you? How long have you been coming here?" The woman lifted her chin. "I told you, I didn't know he was married." Ada smiled slightly. It was a sad smile. "You didn't answer my question." The woman hesitated. 3 months. Ada laughed again. This time, there was pain in it. "So both of you are good at counting," she said. Cunnel stepped closer. "Ada, please. I was going to end it." "When?" Ada asked. Cunnel opened his mouth, then closed it. Ada nodded. "Exactly." Silence filled the room again. The woman shifted on the bed. "Look, this is getting too much. I should leave." Ada turned sharply. "You will leave when I say so." The woman stood up quickly. "You can't talk to me like that." Ada walked closer. "This is my house. My bed. My marriage. You don't get to decide anything here." Cunnel stepped between them. "Please, both of you. Let's calm down." Ada pushed his hand away. "Don't touch me." He stepped back. The woman grabbed her bag again. "I don't want trouble." "You should have thought about that before lying in another woman's bed," Ada said. The woman's face hardened. "I told you I didn't know." Ada looked her straight in the eyes. "You knew enough to come back." The words hung in the air. The woman looked away. Ada felt tears rise, but she forced them down. She would not cry now. Not here. Not in front of them. She walked toward the wardrobe and opened it. Some of Cunnel's clothes were missing. She pulled out one of her dresses. It was crushed and thrown carelessly inside. She turned back. "You brought her into our home," Ada said to Cunnel. "Not a hotel. Not her place. Here." Cunnel's eyes filled with tears. "I was stupid." Ada nodded. "Yes." The woman sighed loudly. I'm tired of this. I'm leaving. She walked toward the door. Ada blocked her path. The woman stopped. Move. No, Ada said calmly. The woman laughed. You think you scare me? Ada did not answer. Kunnel raised his voice. Ada, let her go. Ada turned slowly to him. So now you're protecting her? That's not what I mean, Kunnel said quickly. Ada stepped aside just enough for the woman to pass. As the woman walked by, she brushed Ada's shoulder on purpose. That small action felt like a slap. Ada turned fast. Don't touch me. The woman smirked. You should talk to your husband. He's the one who wanted me. Something snapped inside Ada. Before she could think, she grabbed the woman's arm. The woman gasped. Are you mad? Kunnel rushed forward. Ada, stop. The woman pulled her arm free and pushed Ada back. Ada stumbled but did not fall. The room felt smaller. Hotter. You don't know what you're doing, the woman said. Ada breathed hard. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. The woman raised her hand. Don't try me. Kunnel stood between them again. Please. Enough. Ada looked at Kunnel. Move. He shook his head. Ada looked back at the woman. Get out of my house. The woman laughed. Make me. That was the moment. The moment when words were no longer enough. Ada stepped forward. Her hand moved before her mind did. She slapped the woman across the face. The sound was loud. Sharp. The room went silent. The woman stared at Ada in shock. Then anger filled her eyes. You'll regret that, she said. And she lunged forward. The woman jumped at Ada. It happened fast. Too fast for Kunnel to stop it. The woman grabbed Ada's hair with one hand. Ada cried out in pain, but did not let go. She grabbed the woman's shirt and pulled hard. They both lost balance and crashed against the bed. The mattress dipped under their weight. The woman screamed. Ada felt nails scratch her arm. Pain shot through her skin, but it only made her angrier. Stop! Stop! Kunnel shouted. He rushed toward them, trying to pull them apart. He grabbed Ada's arm, but she shook him off. Don't touch me! Ada screamed. The woman slapped Ada across the cheek. Ada's head snapped to the side. For a second, the room spun. Then rage took over. Ada pushed the woman hard. The woman fell back onto the bed. Ada climbed onto her without thinking. Her hands shook as she raised them and struck the woman's shoulder, then her arm. You think this is funny? Ada shouted. You think this is a joke? The woman screamed and tried to cover her face. Get off me. Kunnel grabbed Ada from behind and pulled her backward. Ada struggled, kicking and screaming. The woman rolled off the bed and stood up fast, breathing hard. Her face was red. Her hair was messy. Her eyes burned with anger. You're crazy, the woman said. Ada laughed. It was a broken laugh. Crazy? You came into my home. The woman picked up a pillow from the bed and threw it at Ada. It hit her chest and fell to the floor. You're blaming the wrong person, the woman said. Ask your husband why he begged me to come. Kunnel shouted, Stop it. Please. Ada turned to him slowly. Begged, she asked. Kunnel opened his mouth, but no sound came out. The woman crossed her arms. He said you were boring. Always tired. Always busy. Ada felt like she had been punched in the chest. She stepped back slightly. Kunnel finally spoke. That's not true. I never said that. The woman laughed. So now you're lying again? Ada raised her hand. Enough. Her voice was shaking now. Not with fear, but with pain. She looked at the bed again. Her bed. The place she slept every night. The place she prayed. The place she cried when life was hard. And this woman had been there. With her husband. How many times? Ada asked quietly. The woman shrugged. Enough. Ada nodded slowly. She walked to the window and opened it. Fresh air rushed in, but it did not help. Her chest still felt tight. I trusted you, Ada said, still facing the window. Kunnel stepped closer. Ada, I messed up. I know. But this doesn't have to end everything. Ada turned around sharply. You brought another woman into our bed. He looked down. There are things we can fix, Kunnel said. Ada shook her head. Not this. The woman picked up her bag again. I'm leaving for real this time. Ada looked at her. You should. The woman walked toward the door, but she stopped and turned back. You should be angry at him, not me, she said. Ada stared at her. I am angry at both of you. The woman rolled her eyes. Fine. She walked out of the room. Ada followed her to the hallway. Connell followed too, begging. Ada, please. Let's talk alone. They reached the living room. The woman walked toward the front door. She opened it. Before stepping out, she turned around one last time. You deserve better, she said to Ada. But don't pretend you didn't ignore him. Ada walked toward her slowly. You don't get to talk about my marriage, Ada said. The woman scoffed. Whatever. She stepped out and slammed the door behind her. The sound echoed through the house. Silence followed. Heavy silence. Connell stood in the middle of the room. His shoulders were slumped. He looked small now. Weak. Ada looked around the house. The couch where they watched movies. The wall where they hung wedding photos. The clock ticking softly. Everything felt fake. Connell stepped closer. Ada, please. I'll end it. I swear. Ada looked at him. Her eyes were red now. It's already ended, she said. He reached out to touch her arm. She stepped back. Don't, she warned. Connell dropped his hand. Ada picked up her bag from the table. I'm going out, she said. Where? Connell asked. She looked at him. Anywhere but here. She walked to the door and opened it. Before stepping out, she stopped. This house doesn't feel like home anymore, she said. Then she left. Connell stood alone in the quiet house. The bed upstairs was still messy. The damage was done. Ada walked without knowing where she was going. The sun was still up, but she felt cold. Her hands shook as she walked down the street. People passed her, talking and laughing, living their normal lives. No one knew her world had just broken. She stopped at a small bus stop and sat down. Her phone buzzed. Connell. She looked at the screen. She did not answer. The phone buzzed again. And again. She turned it off. Her chest hurt. Not like sickness. Like something heavy was sitting on it. She tried to breathe slowly. Memories rushed into her head. The day she met Connell. The small wedding. The promises. The nights they talked until morning. She pressed her hands to her face. How did we get here? She whispered. A bus stopped in front of her. She stood up and entered without thinking. She paid and sat by the window. As the bus moved, tears finally came. She did not cry loud. She just let the tears fall quietly. Her body felt tired. Empty. After a while, she got down at her friend Bola's street. Bola lived close by. Ada had not planned to go there, but her feet led her there. She knocked. Bola opened the door and froze when she saw Ada. Ada? What's wrong? Ada opened her mouth, but instead of words, she started crying. Bola pulled her inside and closed the door. They sat on the couch. Ada told her everything. Slowly. In broken sentences. Between tears. Bola listened. She did not interrupt. When Ada finished, Bola sighed. In your house? Bola asked softly. Ada nodded. In my bed. Bola shook her head. That man has no shame. Ada wiped her face. I feel stupid. You're not stupid, Bola said firmly. You trusted your husband. They sat in silence for a few minutes. Then Ada's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. She ignored it. The phone buzzed again. She frowned and answered. Hello. It was the woman. I just want to talk, the woman said. Ada's body went stiff. Why are you calling me? I got your number from Connell's phone, the woman said. I think we should clear things. Ada stood up. There's nothing to clear. Listen, the woman said. I didn't plan for things to turn out like this. Ada laughed bitterly. You planned enough to sleep in my bed. The woman went quiet for a moment. Then she spoke again. He told me you were separated, the woman said. Ada closed her eyes. Lies. He said you had problems, the woman continued. That you didn't care anymore. Ada felt anger rise again. That's his excuse. I'm not saying he's right, the woman said quickly. I just don't want you to think I was doing this to hurt you. Ada took a deep breath. You hurt me anyway. There was silence on the line. I'm sorry, the woman said softly. Ada did not reply. The woman continued. But you need to know the truth. This wasn't the first time he brought me there. Ada's heart dropped. What do you mean? She asked slowly. He said it was safe, the woman said. That you wouldn't come home early. Ada's hand tightened around the phone. How many times? Ada asked. The woman hesitated. More than 5. Ada ended the call. She dropped the phone on the couch and stood still. Her body felt hot. Her head pounded. Bola stood up. Ada, what did she say? Ada turned to her. Her eyes were dark. He did it many times, she said. In my house. In my bed. Bola cursed under her breath. Ada walked to the bathroom and splashed water on her face. She stared at her reflection. Her cheek was slightly swollen. Her eyes looked tired. Something inside her changed. This was no longer just pain. It was anger. Deep anger. She picked up her phone and turned it on. Missed calls from Kunnel. Messages. I'm sorry. Please come home. Let's talk. Ada typed one message. I'm coming back. She sent it. Bola grabbed her arm. Ada, don't go there angry. Ada looked at her. I'm not angry. That was a lie. She left Bola's house and took a taxi back home. As the car moved, her heart beat fast. She did not know what would happen when she got there. But she knew one thing. She was done being quiet. The taxi stopped in front of the house. Ada paid and stepped down slowly. The house looked the same from outside. Calm. Quiet. Like nothing bad had ever happened inside it. She opened the gate and walked in. Her hands were steady now. She unlocked the front door and entered. Kunnel was in the living room. He was sitting on the couch with his head in his hands. When he heard the door, he looked up fast. Ada, he said and stood up. Thank God. Ada dropped her bag on the floor. Where is she? Ada asked. Kunnel froze. Who? You know who, Ada said. Kunnel swallowed. She left. Ada laughed softly. Don't lie to me. Before Kunnel could speak again, the bedroom door upstairs opened. Footsteps came down the stairs. The woman appeared. She had changed clothes. She looked calm. Too calm. Ada's chest tightened. You're still here, Ada said. The woman stopped on the last step. Kunnel said I should wait. We need to talk like adults. Ada turned to Kunnel slowly. You asked her to stay? Ada asked. Kunnel raised his hands. Ada, please. I was just trying to calm things down. Ada nodded slowly. Calm things down, she repeated. She walked toward the woman. Did you come back to pack your things? Ada asked. The woman crossed her arms. No. I came back because you stormed out like a child. That was it. The final word. Ada slapped her. The sound echoed through the room. Kunnel shouted, Ada! The woman screamed and rushed at Ada. She pushed her hard. Ada fell back against the wall, but she did not fall to the ground. She pushed back. Harder. They crashed into the coffee table. It tipped over. A glass cup shattered on the floor. The woman grabbed Ada's hair again. Pain shot through Ada's head. Ada screamed and grabbed the woman's hair too. They pulled and pulled. Neither wanted to let go. They fell to the floor together. The woman kicked Ada's leg. Ada cried out, but rolled over and pinned the woman's arm down. You think you can insult me in my own house? Ada shouted. The woman scratched Ada's face. He chose me. Ada lost control. She raised her hand and hit the woman's shoulder. Again and again. Kunnel rushed forward and tried to pull Ada off. Stop. Please stop, he begged. Ada shook him off with all her strength. Get away from me. The woman screamed and tried to stand, but Ada pushed her back down. You will never come into my house again, Ada said through heavy breaths. The woman cried now. You're hurting me. Ada stood up suddenly. She was shaking from head to toe. She pointed at the door. Get out. The woman scrambled to her feet. Her hair was messy. Her face was red. Her clothes were torn slightly. She grabbed her bag and ran toward the door. Before leaving, she turned back and shouted, You can keep him. She slammed the door and ran out. The house went quiet. Ada stood in the middle of the room, breathing hard. Her hands hurt. Her body hurt. Kunnel walked toward her slowly. Ada, he said softly. She turned and faced him. Her eyes were cold. Don't speak, she said. He stopped. She looked around. The broken table. The shattered glass. The marks on the wall. This was the picture of their marriage now. Broken. I fought for my home today, Ada said slowly. But not for you. Kunnel started crying. I made a mistake. Ada shook her head. A mistake is forgetting a birthday. This was a choice. She picked up her bag. I'm done, she said. She walked toward the door. Connell fell to his knees. Please, don't leave me. Ada paused. She did not turn back. You already left me, she said. She opened the door and walked out. Ada walked out into the night. The air felt heavy, but it also felt free. Her body ached from the fight. Her face burned where the woman had scratched her. But inside, something was calm. She did not look back. She walked down the street slowly. Each step felt final. Like closing a door she would never open again. She stopped and took a deep breath. For the first time that day, she felt sure. She took out her phone and called Bola. I'm done, Ada said. Bola did not ask questions. Come over. Ada took a taxi back to Bola's place. When she arrived, Bola opened the door and hugged her tight. Ada did not cry this time. She just stood there and breathed. They sat on the couch. Bola looked at Ada's face. You fought her. Ada nodded. Yes. Bola sighed. I wish you didn't have to. So do I, Ada said. But I don't regret standing up for myself. They sat quietly for a while. Later that night, Ada lay on the couch staring at the ceiling. Sleep did not come easily. Her body replayed the day again and again. But her mind was clear. The next morning, Ada went back to the house one last time. Connell was not there. The house was silent. She packed only what she needed. Clothes, documents, personal things. She did not touch the bed. She did not look at their wedding photo. She left the key on the table and walked out. Days passed. Connell called many times. She did not answer. He sent messages. She did not reply. Slowly, the pain softened. It did not disappear, but it became lighter. Ada returned to work. She focused on herself. She slept better. She smiled again, slowly, carefully. One evening, she looked at her reflection in the mirror. She looked tired. But she also looked strong. She had lost a marriage. But she had not lost herself. And that was enough. The end.